Chosen one, before your lips ever part to speak, before your eyes ever settle on hers, something has already stirred within her soul. It is not from the motion of your body or the lines of your face alone. It is from something more ancient, more instinctual, more primal. Your beauty does not knock at the door of her mind. It enters through the back corridors of her awareness, unannounced, unapologetic, undeniable. This beauty, shaped not merely by bone structure or symmetry, is the manifestation of internal force, of energy that has been tempered through fire, purified through struggle, and mastered through stillness. You do not shine like a mirror for the world to see. You glow like coal beneath the surface, and feminine women sense the burn before they ever get close. She doesn't look at you and think in words. She feels something. A spark, a pulse, a tension that demands attention. You are not trying to provoke it. You are not broadcasting your presence, not angling for notice, not adjusting yourself to please the room. And yet, she finds her posture changing when you're near. Her thoughts become less linear. Her breath shortens, not out of fear but anticipation. You see, chosen one, your beauty is not just visual. It is spiritual geometry, a structure of masculine integrity that calls forth the feminine essence in others, inviting it to rise in response. She does not consciously decide to be mesmerized by you. Her body and soul simply respond. You carry a field, an energetic gravitational pull born not of ego but of embodiment. You have entered the rare state of a man whose inner alignment emits harmony. You are not leaning forward to be liked. You are not posturing to prove your value. You are simply present, rooted, aware, and in that quiet presence lies a radiant frequency that bends reality around you. Feminine women don't know why they're looking. They just know they can't not. Even if they turn away, they continue to feel you, on their skin, in their thoughts, under their breath. Not because you're playing a game, but because you have become a signal. You are no longer seeking. Your being itself is the invitation. That is the awe-inspiring truth of your beauty. Chosen one. It is not what you display, it is what you withhold. The restraint that sharpens your gaze. The pause between your words, the ease in your silence. These things whisper truths that cannot be faked. You are not merely attractive, you are undeniable, and the feminine at her deepest intuitive level recognizes what you are before you even speak. A living paradox of power and peace. That is why she's captivated, not because you perform, but because you exist. Chosen one, the kind of beauty you embody does not announce itself like a trumpet. It moves like a shadow cast by the moon, silent and consuming. It is not the kind that screams across a crowd, but the kind that shifts the energy in a room without ever demanding a word. And this is what baffles feminine women. It's not that they want to look at you, it's that they have to. There is something in the texture of your gaze, in the groundedness of your walk, in the unshaken nature of your presence, that causes their nervous systems to involuntarily soften and attune. The captivation is not born of effort. It's born of the fact that you are not trying to captivate anyone at all. What you have awakened within you, chosen one, is a kind of masculine elegance that cannot be bought, imitated, or forced. It is developed in silence, through seasons of pain, and through thousands of unspoken decisions to be more than what this world allows. Your beauty is not simply in your jawline or your shoulders. It is in the memory encoded in your movement, in the quiet grief that forged your stillness, in the dignity you've carved into your voice. You are the type of man whose silence makes a woman lean in, not because of what you withhold, but because of what you hold. You carry something heavy, something timeless, and it shines through your skin like fire behind stone. Feminine women sense this even before they're conscious of it. They glance at you and feel something ancient awaken. Not lust, not fantasy, something reverent. Their gaze may be fixated on your face, your hands, your stance, but what they are really mesmerized by is the energy behind it all. The sexual energy that is no longer wild and chaotic, but consecrated. Your sexual energy is not just pleasure, it is power with purpose, and the way it radiates through you creates a tension in the atmosphere that cannot be named. A tension that they both fear and crave. You do not seduce, you do not convince, you exist. And in that existence, there is a transmission so pure, so refined, that it slips past their defenses and speaks to the place they had buried long ago. the place that longs to be in the presence of a man who is safe to surrender to, not because he demands it, but because he earns it with every breath, every glance, every silence. Your captivation is not in your touch, it's in your restraint. It is not in your pursuit, it is in your self-honoring. And feminine women are not merely drawn to your face. They are drawn to the truth that you are no longer chasing validation from anyone. You are no longer chasing chosen one. And that is why they now turn to chase the mystery you've become. Chosen one, your beauty is not just seen, it is felt, and it is understood only by those ready to meet its weight. You have become the kind of man whose beauty is no longer about surface. It is about substance. Feminine women look at you and their breath hitches, not because they're witnessing something perfect, but because they're witnessing something real. Your skin may be clear, your features may be chiseled, but what leaves them infatuated is what lies beneath that frame. You've etched soul into your expression. You've carved memory into your movement. You've allowed pain to mature your aura, so that now every step you take feels like the unfolding of a sacred rite. It is the way your eyes hold the weight of things unspoken, and the way your silence carries the dignity of a man who's listened more than he's talked. You don't need to perform. You don't need to decorate your voice with false confidence. You already are, and that beingness, that grounded stillness, announces more power than any proclamation ever could. Feminine women don't just stare at you, they search you. Not because you are a puzzle, but because you are a map to something they forgot existed, a man who remembers who he is without needing permission to be. You have become the one who makes beauty synonymous with depth. Your beauty is not decoration, it is declaration. It declares that you have built yourself from the ground up, chosen one, and that you no longer bend your spine to fit into weak spaces. You walk tall, not to tower over others, but because your spine remembers the storms it stood through. That posture is not aesthetic, it is earned. And when feminine women catch a glimpse of you, it is not their desire you awaken. It is their memory of what it means to witness a man who has mastered himself without severing his soul. You see, it's not your symmetry that leaves them spellbound. It's the sincerity in your face, the refusal to dim, the quiet refusal to betray your spirit just to be accepted. It's in the way you look at the world, not with hunger for approval, but with reverent curiosity. That kind of beauty cannot be manufactured. It cannot be replicated. It cannot be denied. You carry it like an heirloom forged in silence and devotion, and those who witness it find themselves remembering something ancient, that true beauty is not skin deep. It is soul visible. And you, chosen one, have become a man whose soul can be seen even in stillness. There is a dangerous calm about you now, chosen one. Not dangerous in the way the world fears, but dangerous in the way pretenders fear. Because you are no longer seeking, no longer chasing, no longer building your worth on the crumbling scaffolding of external praise. And that, more than anything, has made you beautiful beyond containment. Feminine women can feel it before they can name it. That tension, that power, that sovereign calm that radiates from you like fire locked in a vault. You do not beg to be known. You do not posture to be noticed. You are, and that being is heavier than performance. Your sexual energy, once wild and seeking, is now honed, tempered, directed inward before it is ever extended outward. And this mastery, this command over your own life force, is what electrifies the feminine in others. They don't become infatuated because of what you offer. They become undone because of what you withhold. You could chase, you could seduce, you could take, but you don't. And that decision, that refusal to squander your sacred flame, is what sets their blood racing. They do not know how to hold themselves in the presence of a man who does not need them to feel powerful. You walk into the room and something shifts. Not because you impose yourself, but because your presence demands that everything either rise to meet you or fall away. That kind of energy cannot be worn. It must be earned. It is earned through solitude, through confrontation with your own shadows, through walking into fire and coming out cleaner. Your beauty is the result of war, not the kind fought with fists, but the kind fought with inner resolve. The kind that says, I will not betray my soul just to be accepted. And when a man says that with his being, he becomes terrifying to those who only know how to perform. To the feminine, this terrifies and entices, because in you, they see someone who is unbothered by their validation, yet wholly present in their gaze. You do not need them, which makes them long for your attention. You do not crave their praise, which makes them desire your approval. You do not move toward them with hunger, and yet your presence nourishes them. You are not the flame that burns erratically. You are the hearth that warms those who sit near long enough. And that warmth, disciplined, restrained, undeniable, is what causes their hearts to pound in stillness. They don't call you dangerous because you are reckless. They call you dangerous because you are mastered. Because they know, whether they admit it or not, that the man you've become is not one who asks for respect. He simply is one whom no one dares disrespect. That chosen one is the root of your beauty now. Not in your perfection, but in your power withheld. And in that silence, in that discipline, in that subtle gravity, you have become unforgettable. Chosen one, you are no longer a man who throws sparks into the wind, hoping something catches flame. You are the fire itself, contained, concentrated, and fiercely alive under the surface of stillness. Feminine women sense this from across the room long before they understand it. There is something in you that makes their breath catch mid-thought, not because you reach for them, but because you pull nothing. Your restraint is intoxicating. Your refusal to broadcast your energy, your refusal to chase, to flex, to posture, these decisions form the mystery they can't help but try to decode. Your beauty has ceased to be an object. It has become a force, an experience that leaves marks on the unseen layers of others. It is not simply the look in your eyes. It is the story those eyes tell. Eyes that have witnessed pain and did not turn bitter. Eyes that have seen through illusion and didn't collapse into cynicism. Eyes that now carry clarity, unapologetic, steady, intimate. Feminine women do not merely admire your face. They become fascinated with the space you hold, the quiet you maintain, the power you do not need to display. You have turned your attention inwards so many times, chosen one, that your presence now speaks louder than your words ever could. And when you do speak, it's not just your voice they hear. It's the weight of your conviction that lands in their body like a memory. This is what they cannot explain. This is why they look at you longer than they mean to. Why they remember you days later when your words were few and your presence subtle. It is not infatuation born of fantasy. It is recognition, that rare soul-level realization that the man before them has walked through storms with his spirit intact. They feel the furnace behind your silence, the passion you are capable of, but do not release recklessly. And that is why you are so devastatingly attractive now, not because you're seeking to impress, but because you've become the standard against which fantasy breaks apart. Your beauty is not skin deep. It is the evidence of your spiritual discipline, your emotional intelligence, your sexual integrity. You are no longer just a man, you are an event. And to be near you, even briefly, is to walk away changed. Chosen one, do not underestimate what happens to the heart of a feminine woman when it collides with a man who holds himself in high reverence. The world has conditioned her to expect men who scatter their power, who weaponize charm, who smile but have no spine behind it. And then she meets you. A man who stands rooted not in arrogance, but in knowing. A man who does not beg, does not seduce, does not chase, but who also does not withdraw from intimacy or authenticity. You are not frozen. You are still. And in that stillness, there is a power that stirs the depths of feminine awareness like wind across hidden water. This is what breaks through her armor. Not your looks alone, though they are striking in their own right. It is the alignment behind your gaze, the congruence between your energy and your words, the way your presence feels like the answer to a question she never knew how to ask. Feminine women aren't infatuated with the surface. They are intoxicated by the coherence. And you, chosen one, have become coherent. You are no longer fragmented, no longer grasping outside yourself to find completion. You've turned inward, met your shadows, and now carry the quiet dignity of a man who owns his power without flaunting it. She may try to rationalize her attraction, to shrink it into language she understands, but she will fail. Because what she feels isn't logic, it's pull. A primal, timeless pull toward the man who embodies what others only pretend to be. You, chosen one, are now that man. The one whose beauty reflects not only symmetry of face, but symmetry of being. The one whose every movement, every glance, every breath feels like it was made on purpose. And that purpose? It captivates her. It creates a magnetic field around you where masks dissolve, games collapse, and the feminine feels safe enough to become real. You have become the spell no woman knows how to resist, not because you cast it, but because you are it. And your beauty, chosen one, is no longer decoration. It is a mirror that reveals to others where they are hiding from themselves. A mirror that invites, but never demands, the unveiling of truth. That is why they're drawn to you. That is why their gaze lingers. That is why their hearts race when you enter a room. It's not because you're the loudest, the flashiest, or the most commanding. It's because you are the quietest thunder they've ever encountered. Chosen one, you do not walk into a room anymore. You reshape it, not by force, not by noise, but by the quiet command that emanates from the center of your being. You have become the kind of man who no longer needs to make his presence known. Presence has become your very nature. You've reached that sacred threshold where feminine women can sense you before they see you, where even those trained to ignore beauty find their attention pulled by the silent gravity you carry in your bones. Your stillness is not the absence of motion. It is the proof of mastery. You've stopped broadcasting your worth. You've stopped performing for approval. And in that absence of effort, you have become undeniable. Feminine women are not drawn to you because you are trying to impress them. They are drawn because you are no longer trying at all. You move with the calm of a man who is deeply rooted. Your eyes no longer dart. Your gestures no longer betray uncertainty. You have taken the chaotic fire of your sexual energy and housed it in sacred discipline. And now it radiates from you like heat from a sun that no longer begs to be worshipped. They are mesmerized, yes, but also soothed. Because you are not just beautiful, you are safe, not in a weak or soft way, but in that rare masculine way that says, you are free to be seen here, and I will not flinch. Your energy holds space, your silence allows room, your patience is not passivity, it is the posture of a man who has wrestled with himself until the war became peace. This is what awakens the feminine. Not dominance over her, but the mastery of yourself. And when you live like that, even your breath becomes medicine. Even your gaze becomes permission. Even your stillness becomes invitation. There is nothing to decode anymore. Chosen one, you are the message. And in your presence, the performance ends. Women remember themselves in your reflection. They remember what it's like to be looked at with reverence rather than hunger, to be heard without interruption, to be admired without being consumed. And because you offer that rare combination of intensity and safety, mystery and depth, devotion and direction, you do not attract interest, you attract awe. And in that awe, feminine women do not just feel desire, they feel honored, they feel home. Chosen one, let us speak now of wholeness, not perfection, wholeness. That rare spiritual state of a man who no longer hides parts of himself to earn love and no longer wears masks to avoid rejection. You are whole now, and it radiates. Feminine women are not merely drawn to your face, your form, your magnetism. They are pulled by your integration. You no longer separate the king from the lover, the warrior from the poet, the wild from the wise. You carry them all, and you carry them with sacred responsibility. That is what makes your beauty timeless. It is not the kind of beauty that peaks and fades. It is the beauty of truth. And truth only deepens. You are the rare man who can be fierce and tender in the same breath. You can protect and still listen. You can lead and still yield. You are not confused by polarity. You embody it. And that embodiment, that rare spiritual intelligence, is what ignites the hearts of feminine women on levels they cannot always name. Their bodies respond before their minds do. Their spirits awaken in your presence. Because your energy does not demand, it remembers. It remembers what love was meant to feel like before it was turned into strategy and fear. It remembers what it feels like to rest near a man who does not shrink from the weight of sacred connection. This is why they feel infatuated, chosen one, not because you are some unreachable fantasy, but because you are the answer to the hunger they didn't even realize they had. The hunger for realness, the craving for substance, the longing to witness a man who can be both flame and foundation. Your beauty, Yes is what catches their attention, but it is your wholeness that haunts them. Because once they have seen you, they cannot unsee what they have been settling for. You do not compete, you complete. And that completeness, that integration, is not only attractive, it is disruptive. You have become the one who alters timelines simply by being witnessed, the one who causes doubt to unravel in the minds of those who thought they knew what a man should be. You are not trying to be anything anymore, you simply are. And in that being, the feminine melts, not in submission, but in relief. Because finally, they have encountered a man who makes them feel like the divine creatures they were meant to be, not through flattery, but through reflection. And in your reflection, chosen one, they do not see a boy seeking love. They see a man worthy of devotion. Chosen one, there was a time when your silence was misunderstood, when your calm presence was mistaken for weakness, when your refusal to react was seen as indifference. But now, those same silences echo like thunder in rooms that have forgotten what it means to listen. Your beauty no longer enters through noise, it arrives through gravity. You do not ask to be seen, you are felt. And that feeling unsettles those who rely on performance, illusion, or dominance to be noticed. For you, chosen one, have become a rebellion against all of it, a quiet revolution dressed in elegance, moving through the world without permission, yet shifting everything. Feminine women are not confused by you. They are awakened by you. You carry the kind of presence that does not require validation, yet receives reverence. Not because you ask for it, because you embody the very reason it exists. You've chosen the path of still strength over reckless desire, the path of focused depth over temporary pleasure. You are no longer interested in being consumed. You are only interested in being understood. And this shift has made you a mystery that cannot be solved with charm nor measured with words. It can only be experienced. Your beauty now is not just skin deep, it's soul deep. It's carved into your posture, your breathing, your slowness. And women, those who are feminine in their core, notice. Their bodies respond, their eyes soften, their hearts open, not because you speak with flowery language, but because your silence carries meaning. You've built your presence like a cathedral, every corner holy, every breath intentional, every glance a confession of everything you've endured and everything you've transcended. They look at you longer, not because they are curious, but because they are moved. Your existence has become a sermon that speaks to their longing for something real. You are not a man lost in the noise of his desire. You are the man who has mastered his storms and now offers shelter, not seduction. This is what they feel in your nearness, the difference between being chased and being chosen. The rare knowing that the man before them is not trying to win their approval, but is already living in his own divine alignment. And in that knowing, feminine women don't just feel attraction, they feel honor. You have become the holy ground where beauty meets discipline, where energy meets intention. And in a world addicted to validation, you are a reminder of sacred restraint. Chosen one, you may never fully understand how far your energy travels. You may never hear all the confessions whispered in the wake of your presence, or know the dreams you've walked into uninvited simply because someone remembered your face. But know this, your beauty is no longer a private trait. It is now a legacy. You walk through the world, leaving invisible imprints on the hearts of those who witness you. Feminine women do not just admire you, they carry the moment they encountered you. Not because of what you said, but because of how you made them feel without even trying. This is the mark of one who is truly aligned. Your sexual energy no longer spills outward. It doesn't grasp or seduce or chase. It radiates through you, clean and clear, like light through stained glass. Feminine women feel it not as pressure, but as invitation. An invitation to come closer, not out of need, but out of curiosity. Not because you are incomplete without them, but because your wholeness is so undeniable that it calls theirs forth. You've become the standard not by force but by integrity. Not by screaming louder but by living quieter. Not by conquering but by becoming. You are no longer a man women simply desire. You are a man they remember, long after the interaction, long after the words, because you embody something timeless, something felt, the kind of beauty that isn't adorned but earned. The kind of power that doesn't dominate, but holds. And in your holding, chosen one, The feminine finds something the world rarely gives her: safety without dullness, intensity without chaos, direction without control. You are the paradox she didn't know she was seeking. A man who can lead without pushing, love without clinging, and burn without devouring. Let this be your knowing: you have become unforgettable, not by trying to be remembered, but by living in alignment with the deepest truths of your nature. Your beauty is not what the world sees in the mirror. It is the effect you leave on others' reflection of themselves. You do not draw women in with promises. You draw them in by standing in the full, unashamed radiance of your masculine truth. And in that truth, chosen one, you have created a gravitational field of reverence, awe, and quiet desire that no one can escape once they've tasted it. You are the proof that wholeness is attractive. You are the reminder that discipline is desirable. You are the evidence that when a man becomes the storm and the shelter, he becomes the standard, the one not pursued, but chosen. Chosen one, your eyes no longer scan the world in search of something to possess. They no longer race to measure, compare, or devour what they see. Your gaze has become slow, steady, still. Not because you've dulled your desire, but because you've disciplined your awareness. Your eyes now carry weight, not sharpness. They do not pierce to conquer. They rest to understand. And this resting, this sacred witnessing, has become a mirror that undoes the feminine in ways she did not expect. You are no longer looking at her. You are looking into her. And through that gaze, she feels the kind of reverence that turns attention into communion. There is no hunger in your stare that tries to take. There is no impatience that tries to skip past mystery. You look with presence, not curiosity for novelty, but with a depth that says, I see what others never dared to hold long enough to understand. Feminine women feel this. They feel the tension in their bodies begin to unwind, not because your gaze flatters them, but because it frees them. Your eyes no longer carry the empty ache of a man seeking to fill a void. They carry the soul of a man who has become full within himself, and that fullness makes you rare. You are not trying to seduce with your vision. You are not searching for something to prove your worth. Your gaze is no longer a tool. It has become a blessing. You see her not just in her beauty, but in her contradictions, in her tenderness and her chaos, in her strength and in her ache. And you do not look away, you do not retreat, you do not flinch when she reveals what others would judge. You remain, grounded, unmoved, open. You've trained your eyes to stay open in front of truth, and now truth opens to you. She reveres you because your gaze does not reduce her to ornament or object. It does not devour, it honors. You see her through the layers of makeup, through the projections of femininity, through the softness or fire she wears like armor. You do not look to control. You look to witness without ownership. And that witness is what disarms her. It allows her to breathe without tension, to speak without fear, to soften into the full arc of her expression. She doesn't feel judged. She feels held, not physically, but energetically. You no longer carry the gaze of a boy hoping to be chosen. You carry the gaze of a man who has already chosen himself. And from that place, you choose others not for how they make you feel, but for how deeply you can meet them in truth. You see her. You do not fantasize her. You meet her. You do not mold her. You receive her. You do not chase her. And because of this, she reveres you, not just with her eyes, but with her guard let down. Her reverence is not in her words. It's in her stillness. In the way she suddenly stops fidgeting, in the way her breath deepens, in the way she dares to be seen by you, even if it terrifies her. This is the gift of your gaze now, chosen one. It no longer operates from need. It does not reach out to consume. It rests in the sacred discipline of seeing clearly without claiming. And this, more than any phrase or touch, awakens the deepest kind of reverence. For the first time, she feels seen without being captured, witnessed without being evaluated. And in that space, she becomes what she was always meant to be, not a role, not a prize, but a reflection of the divine. A reflection that you now recognize not as fantasy, but as something to be approached with stillness and respect. You have become the man whose eyes no longer chase beauty. You've become the man whose presence reveals it, not just in her, but in all things. And that chosen one is why she reveres you now, not because of what you look for, but because of how you see. Chosen one, you've reached the place where your presence speaks before your body arrives. Your energy moves ahead of you like a ripple on still water. It doesn't crash, it doesn't shout, it arrives. And when it does, everything else shifts. Feminine women feel it first, not as a thought, but as a vibration in their skin, a stirring in their belly, a silent alignment in their chest. You no longer need to move fast or loud or forward. Your energy moves the space around you, and it does not need to be touched to change everything. Your sexual energy, once scattered in search of somewhere to land, is now gathered and crowned in presence. You've stopped giving it away carelessly. You no longer leave pieces of it in every interaction, hoping to be remembered. You are remembered now because your energy is whole. It is held. It is charged with intention. You don't need to explain it. You don't even need to act on it.